We're going to make a little bit of a leap here. Get ready. It's because y'all are being way too precious about your reader magnets.
Hey there, I'm Tammy. I'm the newsletter ninja who translates all that internet marketer stuff into strategies that work for you. I've been doing this indie author marketing thing for the better part of a decade now, and I understand your author newsletter needs, from list building to automation to managing unsubscribes. I've got you, fam.
Hey everybody, it's me again, Tammy Labreck, here with a new video on the Newsletter Ninja YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about reader magnets, something I like to talk about a lot. We're going to do a little bit of a mindset reset around reader magnets, though, and I think that that is really important just because of some trends that I'm seeing lately, and obviously because I have a new reader magnet book coming out. I'm very hopeful that you all will run out and buy it, and I would like to see you have a healthy and positive outlook on your whole reader magnet situation. So interestingly enough, we're going to start by going way back to a time when reader magnets were definitely not a thing, the mid to late 1800s, and we're going to talk about Philadelphia businessman John Wanamaker. Bet you didn't see that coming. John Wanamaker, as I said, was a Philadelphia businessman. He was most notably known for owning the Wanamaker store in Philly. And as I said, he operated in the mid to late 1800s into the 1900s. He was a really interesting dude. He was extremely good at business, obviously, very good at advertising. He was, a trivia fact, if you should ever happen to be asked, the first advertiser to ever take out a full-page ad in an American newspaper. A lot of people call him the father of advertising. That's, maybe some hyperbole, but he was definitely a pioneer. And the reason I bring him up is because he is well known, or at least it is attributed to him, as being the person who said, half of the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The problem is I don't know which half. Now, this is it's an advertising truism. It's been repeated, for decades and decades as, something that this advertising whiz said. And so we should all not worry too much about our advertising budgets in the sense of not being able to target them perhaps as precisely as we would like. Sometimes you will pepper the world with your advertising and you will get a certain amount of return. And unfortunately, you can't then shut off half of it because you know that all of the money that actually worked was spent over here. There are a lot of modern marketers, though, who disagree with this statement from John Wanamaker. The reason being not that they think that half of advertising isn't wasted, but in fact that they think that more than half of any advertising budget is probably wasted. And again, we can't tell which part is the waste and which part isn't, which is very frustrating in our current atmosphere, particularly as indie authors. We have Facebook ads, we have Amazon ads, we have BookBub ads, we have what seem to be very good metrics that we can look at. Very good, maybe a little bit of an understatement over there at Amazon, where they don't tell us what we really want to know about Kindle Unlimited. But regardless, we have pretty good metrics for measuring click-through rates and sell-through and conversion and all of that sort of stuff that we want to measure. I say all of that stuff because the fact is I'm actually not very good at advertising. I don't understand it well. I don't have much of an affinity for it. I don't do a lot with ads. When I do need to have advertising done for one reason or another, I will very often just find somebody that I can pay to do that for me, or I will ask somebody that I know is very good at it to walk me through X, Y, Z, and then I will fumble along as best I can. And it's sad to say most of the time I will just try and fail, get nothing. So I don't have an affinity for that. And it's definitely outside the scope of my usual newsletter talk. So why am I bringing advertising up? We're going to make a little bit of a leap here. Get ready. It's because y'all are being way too precious about your reader magnets. Your reader magnets are, after all, basically just a sort of advertising. They're specifically what you would call a loss leader. We'll talk more about loss leaders in a minute. But if you think of them as advertising, then yes, a lot of the ad spend, I got my air quotes here if someone's listening rather than watching, a lot of your ad spend, which would be giving away your reader magnet, will be wasted, with the air quotes again, meaning that the people who download it won't end up being good long-term subscribers or your ride or dies. And that's okay. Half or more of that advertising is wasted. Sure, no problem. Here's the good news. Generally speaking, you're not paying to get that reader magnet out there. Certainly there are some circumstances where you might do some kind of paid promotion with it. You could run Facebook ads to it. You can run BookBub ads to a reader magnet. There are some rules though, so don't just start trying to do that willy-nilly. You could come ask about it in the Facebook group if you'd like some more specifics on that. You can definitely put some money behind your reader magnet, but you absolutely do not need to. I suppose BookFunnel has a subscription fee. The higher tiers over at Story Origin have a subscription fee, that kind of thing. You can occasionally spend a little money on it. But as far as your advertising budget goes, your reader magnet is going to be one of your lowest cost ways to get your work out there, get your name out there, get yourself in front of readers and get some attention. And if the budget of that is measured by how many books, how many reader magnets did people download versus how many people ended up going on to become long-term subscribers, yeah, more than half of that might be wasted, that currency of numbers of reader magnets. That's fine. Who cares? So it has always been, so it will ever be. You're not going to be for everyone, and that's okay. I mean, if you're for everyone, you're kind of for no one, right? And it's important to note that if somebody downloads your free reader magnet and they go on to become a big fan, or somebody downloads your reader magnet and they don't go on to become a big fan, neither one of those things has cost you anything. Neither one of those things has cost you materially any more money than if it was one person or 4 people or 10 people or 40 people or 6,000 people. It's also worth noting that just in terms of just pure numbers, every person who downloads your reader magnet and doesn't then go on to become a ride or die is just one more no on the way to getting a yes from somebody else, because there is some percentage of people who, when they see your reader magnet, will read it. And a percentage of those people will go on to buy more of your stuff, and a percentage of those people will become huge fans. If you're going to play a numbers game, you got to cast a net. Right? Now, I do caution you, I believe I said it in the last video, and God knows I say it everywhere else. I do caution you to target your reader magnet promotions carefully. Don't put your motorcycle club romance in front of maybe, I don't know, cowboy romance. I just pulled 2 subgenres completely out of my butt. But the point is, you're more likely to find more people who will not become your people and fewer people who will. So obviously try to target, but you need to cast a net out there. And even in your subgenre, even in your specific categories, or, you know, among readers who ought to like what you're doing, there's going to be a number who do and a number who don't. And as I already said, if you're for everybody, you're kind of for nobody. If absolutely everybody finds you palatable, nobody will find you any more than palatable. And nobody's rushing out to buy books on day one from a writer that they think is fine. That's not how any of this works. So get your reader magnet out there, sprinkle it upon the waters, let people download it if they want to. If they stick around, great. If they don't stick around, also great. Now, the reason, part 2, the reason that we're having this, I was going to say conversation, but let's be honest, it's a lecture. The reason that you're getting this lecture right now is that I have actually had a huge influx of people into my Facebook group, which is amazing. I'm very happy about that. It gets conversation going more. It gets a lot more voices into the conversation, which is always good. There's always a mix of people who are new and who are more experienced. And that's always a good place to be because it's where the best dialogue happens. And frankly, that group is full of super smart people. I'll have the link down below so that you can come join if you want to, because there are just a lot of people there who are really good at individual mailing list software, mailing list philosophy in general, just computer techie stuff in general, marketing principles. We got all kinds in there. Great group. But a thing that's been happening a lot lately is that people will be posting or replying to posts, and they are big mad, like wicked mad. I'm seeing like a lot of fury aimed at the people who download your reader magnets and then don't go on to become super fans. Either they, they download and then they unsubscribe, or they download and then they, gradually fall out of engagement and they don't open your emails and whatever. There was one poor woman who apparently is emailing everybody that she's ever downloaded a reader magnet from and telling them she's sorry, but she's unsubscribing because she has too many free books to read, which is sad and also hilarious. And also, can I just go on record as saying, bless her heart for thinking that she needs to tell everybody this and let them down easy. I actually think that's really sweet, but that's neither here nor there. My point is, there are a lot of people who are super, super mad because people are downloading their reader magnets and they're not going on to become super fans. Here is what is important to keep in mind. Nobody promised you super fans, okay? As I already said, you will not be for everyone, and that's okay, because if you're for everyone, you're for no one. But the fact that you won't be for everyone, by definition, means that some people are going to join your list and then they are going to turn out not to be the right kind of people to be on your list. And when they choose to leave, awesome. You got to get some perspective on this, okay? You have got to get some perspective on this, because here is the important thing for you to remember. When someone signs up for your list in exchange for your reader magnets, you've made this kind of mercenary exchange, right? You give me something, I'll give you something. The fact of the matter is, if they don't really enjoy your reader magnet, that exchange is worthless to both of you. They're not going to enjoy the reader magnet, okay, and they're not going to be subscribers, so you're not going to get any benefit out of that email that they gave you, that email address that they gave you. So let them go. Awesome. I always tell people, I say it all the time. I say it in class. I say it in the group. I say it in consultations. I say it at presentations at conferences. When someone signs up for your list in exchange for the reader magnet, the very first thing that I want you to do is encourage them to unsubscribe. And I get a lot of really strange looks when I tell people this, but here's the thing. If the very first thing you do is give them a very easy, no judgment way to show themselves the door, if they don't actually want to stay on the list and be subscribers, then they will show themselves the door, at which point they don't cost you money by being on your list, because of course you get charged by list size. They don't mess up your deliverability and reputation by not opening your emails because they're off the list, and then that's awesome. And they leave with a pretty good feeling about it, which I also think is really important. It's why I always say to do it in a good-natured way. My invitations are usually something along the lines of, if you just joined the list to get the free books, hey, no harm, no foul. I totally get it. I love free books too. Just click this big unsubscribe button and you'll be unsubscribed. When that person leaves, they will either go on to never read your reader magnet, or they will read your reader magnet. And when they do, maybe they come back because they think you're freaking awesome. That is not going to happen if you yell at them, send them back a nasty reply, bar people who have ever unsubscribed from your list from resubscribing. I'm seeing a lot of advice about that, and I think it's an absolutely terrible idea. It seems to be centered around the idea of not letting people who have gotten a freebie come back and just keep getting freebies, but they're freebies. Stop being precious about them. Who cares? They're free. If everyone downloads one or no one downloads one, it costs you the same thing. Let people download your thing. That's not even how gifts work. Just let it go. Let it go. Elsa GIF here. Actually, Stacy can't put an Elsa GIF in there because we totally get sued, but just pretend. So that's the thing. I guess that's the thing that I really want to come back around to, is that you can't get mad at people for not becoming good subscribers, for not buying into whatever it is that you've got for them after the reader magnet. You can't get upset with people for that. It's just silly. It's insanity. Your reader magnet, to go back to what I was starting to say in the beginning, is a loss leader. And you got to think about it that way. And if you do, you will be so much more at peace. I am sorry to tell you, but your reader magnet is those weird little samples that you get at Sam's Club or Costco or whatever, depending on where you live. People take a taste and they decide if they like you or not. And sometimes people are just there for the free samples. It's me. I'm people. But sometimes, just sometimes, someone will try one of those samples and realize that they have to buy the whole Costco size box of this thing that they didn't even know they needed, and now they can't live without it. That's also me. I'm also those people. The people who make that decision, who read your reader magnet and they go crazy for whatever it is that you write, and they buy through your whole catalog and tell all their friends how awesome you are and whatever, living the dream, all that stuff we want them to do. Those are your people. Concentrate on them. Send them even cooler stuff if they stay on the list, because you encouraged all the people who didn't want to be there to show themselves out. The people who stay on the list, those are the ones who can become your ride or dies. Those are your people. Don't worry about the people who tasted the sample and then, went off to buy something else in the frozen food case and it wasn't you. Who cares? It was free. If one person out of 100 who downloads your reader magnet sticks around and reads a few more things, you've made a few bucks. If one person out of every 20 of those really loves you and goes ahead and starts buying through your whole catalog, that is also a lot of bucks. And again, like I said, every person who joins the list but doesn't stay because they're not your ride or die is one more no on the road to yes. So please stop trying to gatekeep your reader magnets. Stop trying to punish people who don't do whatever it is that you think they should be doing with your reader magnet. The only thing they should be doing is downloading it and either reading it or not, and then either staying on your list or not, depending on if they're interested in you. And if they are not interested enough to keep reading your books, A, don't take it personally, and B, just keep putting it out there looking for the people who are, because ultimately those are the people who will build you your career. They are the people who will be the bulk of your mailing list. They are the people who will open all of your newsletters, forward them to their friends, share your books. And I want to spend my time thinking about those people instead of the people who, for whatever reason, didn't know how amazing I was. They don't know what they're missing. And that's okay. That's all I had to say on that topic. It was a little lecture-y, and I'm sorry. I do, as I mentioned, have a book coming out on reader magnets. This is what it looks like. And the link is in the show notes if you want to go ahead and pre-order that. It's out next week or the week after or something like that, because I postponed it again. Sorry. There is that, obviously. And of course, you can join the Facebook group, which is also down there. Hit the like button if any of this resonated with you and you did in fact like it. That's important. And if you'd like to hear more of my hot takes and lectures, what's wrong with you? But you can by clicking subscribe. I literally don't know what side it's on, you guys. Subscribe, and there's a little bell if you really want to get crazy so that you actually get notifications about the specific videos when I drop them. And I hope that you do, because it's actually turning out to be a lot more fun to make these than I thought it would be. So drop a comment down there. Let me know how you feel about the people who download your reader magnet and don't stay on the list. Get it all out here. And then that way, you don't have to say it to them when they email to let you know that they're unsubscribing from all their mailing lists. Bye, guys.